for me as well. Like network marketing changed the course of my life because I don't really feel like I had as much direction before doing it. And that's just not to say that I didn't really know where I was going, because I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know how I was going to get there.
Yeah.
There was no clarity. Like, let's be real. There was no clarity.
That's why I think it's different, because when I think about coaches and mentors, I don't think a coach should be your friend. A mentor and a coach is not your friend. It's a different type of relationship. Like,
I hear it.
Like when you go to this is just my personal opinion. Like, if I'm coaching someone, I'm not trying to be your friend. Hello and welcome to Business and Banter. My name is Naomi.
And my name is Tara, and I am so glad to be here. Girl, how are you doing?
All good. And yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of episodes now that we've done, and I feel like we really need to start delving really deep into, of course, you know, what we've been through and a lot of other different things. So, girl, today, what are we talking about?
So today we're going to talk about mentorship, guys. So we're going to talk about mentorship in a sense, but we're going to look at it from both perspectives, because if you guys have been watching from episode 1, you all know that Tara and I have been in network marketing.
We have.
We are no longer in it.
We're not.
But we definitely learned and grew from the experience. But part of our network marketing experience meant that we were mentees, as in we had a mentor. But we also had our own mentees and were acting as a mentor ourselves. So for me, it was a growth experience. It was a learning experience. I'd never done anything like mentoring before.
Nope.
And it was different in a sense of you're working with people from all walks of life, different ages. So yeah, I think it would be interesting to discuss it, because like something that you mentioned in one of the previous episodes is that you're a people person and you like to talk. And we spoke about like different types of people and how you now know how to basically get what you want from people by using the skills that you have.
Facts.
So how essentially did that grow through mentoring, or how did you acquire that skill through mentoring, or develop that skill through your mentorship experience, whether it be as a mentee or a mentor?
Well, first of all, I actually didn't really know what a mentor was. Like, real talk. Like, I'm just going to be real. I didn't actually know what a mentor was. I didn't know how important it was to, number one, have one, and also how important it was when you are mentoring someone. You know, mentorship, I feel like, has so many different avenues, but obviously the one that we really explored was when we were in the network marketing field. And, you know, we were mentored as well as mentors. We were mentees as well as mentors, is that the right thing to say? But I just feel like, because it was something I didn't really know how to do, or I didn't know what to expect from it, the journey of being mentored was where I really learned, like, how to now become a mentor. So, you know, we started this journey when we wanted to, of course, learn how to trade. And, you know, we had that mentorship in different areas. So we had the mentorship of course, talking to people about the trading itself, and then also learning the trading as well. So we had our mentors in that trading field, and we had our mentors in the leadership field.
But would you refer to the trading mentors as mentors? Because I wouldn't. I would refer to them as more like a coach, because we didn't have like one-on. Whereas with your mentor, we had one-on-one. It was one-on-one. There were also group sessions, but essentially like your upline was you could go to that person one-on-one. You'd have one-on-ones with Tosin, for example.
True.
Whereas you're not going to go and, yeah, you may have had a one-on-one with Tyrone, but not everybody else did. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
It's not, in my opinion, I wouldn't even see that as mentorship.
I
see
hear
it
you.
as like, I mean, I think it's relevant.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't see it as mentorship in the same way that we were mentored. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. It's like a different type of relationship. It's true. And I think that, of course, comes down to, you know, defining what is a coach and what is a mentor. Like, do you know what I mean? So obviously there's clear definitions for it, but then also even for yourself. Like, for me, like, it's true actually what you said when you break it down like that, because for me, Tyrone, who was the person that taught me how to trade, he was my coach. I mean, we used to call him coach, innit? So, but he was my coach. It's true, because he used to coach me
Coach on red.
Yeah. Stop it. Coach on red. But yeah, he used to coach me on how to become a trader, and also just how to maintain that trading, you know, how to maintain my trades and things like that. Whereas mentorship with Tosin, who was the person that mentored me, she basically showed me she basically showed me the things that she does and how to duplicate that. Does that make sense? And it is a similar thing when it comes to trading, but with mentorship, it's all about learning how people work. Like, you can be a mentor. You can be a mentor and you can learn how people work and learn how they are and what they do, but also it's the way you react. It's the way you treat them. You know, you're not going to treat every single person that you're mentoring the same way. Like, you had to learn their habits. You had to learn. Remember, we used to have things like, oh God, now it's gone out of my head. So the types of people. So if you're expressive, if you are someone that I can't remember,
so
the other ones,
you're
amiable.
essentially saying that you want to speak to people based on their personality and how they like to do things. Like, for example, I'm a numbers person.
Yes.
So if you want to get through to me, like, I don't need all the airy fairy stuff. I want the logical, this is what I need to do, this is how it's going to work, and this is what I'm going to get at the end.
Yeah.
Whereas you can go to someone like you, for example, and you'll be like, okay, this is what you need to do, and this is how much it costs, and this is what you're going to get at the end. But you don't care about that. You want to know what the lifestyle is going to be like. What are you going to be able to do? What's it going to look like? And all of those different types of things. And I think, as somebody who I feel like my role doesn't necessarily mean I have to work with a lot of people. Obviously, I do have to build relationships, but not in the same way.
Yeah.
But it's allowed me to learn how to get what you want out of a situation, essentially.
Yeah.
How to get what you want out of a situation by making the other person feel like it was their idea. That's the reality of the situation. That's what you're doing.
I hear it. Do you know what is mad?
It's a sales tactic.
It's actually mad. No, but it's mad, but it's true, because everything that we did when it came to mentoring is something that obviously they did. We basically, how we mentored people was basically what happened to us. So, you know, when I was being mentored, like, I didn't really know that I was being mentored. I'm not gonna lie, like, but then I learned so many things. Cause I was like, right, I'm actually duplicating now what they've shown me. Do you know what I mean? And it really helped actually when it came to, like, you know, mentoring, because I'd never done that before. And, you know, for people to come to me and ask me questions and ask me how to do this, how to do that. Yes, it was overwhelming, but at the same time, I had to learn. I had to learn how to, number one, I mean, we spoke about it in one of our previous pods as well, about how to set boundaries. Yeah, that was one thing that I feel like is very big in mentorship. It's like how to set boundaries, because you want the people that you're mentoring to have that level of respect for you enough to know that they're not calling you at 2:00 in the morning. Just don't do that. And I wasn't that type of mentor. And I say it worked for me, but long term it wasn't feasible. Like, I had to learn how to basically, you know, how to say no, and when to say yes. So, like, I couldn't always give them what they want. It was going to be a tough gig. It was going to be things that they didn't want to do, but then of course they needed to do them to get to where they wanted to be. So I learned that a lot. I learned that, like, you know, very, very grateful for people like Tosin, who really helped me to kind of develop that skill that I enjoyed of, you know, talking to people. As we said, I'm a people person. However, when it came to mentorship, I thought it was just that easy. Like, I thought all I need to do is talk to them and that's it. No.
And they're gonna do what you
what
you say.
It wasn't that simple. It was not that simple. So it was just learning, that whole learning curve of just making sure that actually you're here to help them to do something. Use those, you know, you need to find those steps to be able to get them to that level. You can't just be chatty. There has to be structure to it. Do you know what I mean? So the mentorship journey for me, in terms of being mentored, it was great, because I had someone that I could talk to. I had someone, like, you know, that I could call with, you know, I can't do this. Can you help me? If she couldn't help me, she'll find someone that could. Do you know what I mean? So it was not so much, you know, in that environment of work where it's like you have a boss. It was more so they're experiencing and going through that same thing with you as well. Do you know what I mean? But they've actually gotten to a stage that you want to get to. And even when they keep getting to that next stage, you're kind of going with them, if that makes sense. So, like, with Tosin, you know, she kept going up a stage, I kept going up a stage as well, but we're learning at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I feel like being mentored was really a big part of, you know, how I've, you know, come to what I'm doing now. It helped me a lot, again, as I said, with my people skills, with talking to people, with, you know, everything that I'm doing now. But it's hard. Mentorship is, like, being a mentor is hard. Like, to be, like, I spoke to someone, who actually used to do network marketing with us. I remember having a brief conversation with her, and I said, and she said, picking a mentor or having a mentor that actually, you know, does what you want, does what it is that you want, and has the same beliefs that you as you is difficult, because they might have certain, certain beliefs that you have, but at the same time they're always going to have that, kind of upper hand because they've been there, if that makes sense. So it's difficult sometimes to choose a mentor that is right for you, but I believe that you can have multiple mentors for different things.
See, I don't think it's difficult to choose a mentor that's right for you. That's where I disagree. I feel like as long as you have, so my experience with mentorship is both in network marketing, but also in career,
Oh yeah.
in my career. So if I want to say, like, okay, for me personally, I think being a mentee is harder than being a mentor. I found being a mentor easy, like not in easy in comparison. Once I understood how to speak to people, it's just a process. You do the same thing over and over and over. It's just you adapt it slightly, depend on who you're talking to. But being a mentee is difficult for me because I am, like most people, we don't bode well with authority, more so with somebody who is a stranger essentially to you, because that's what it is. A mentor is someone who, well, in my case, was somebody that I didn't know but had the results that I desired. So I was then following someone who I didn't know. I knew that I didn't share all of the beliefs of my mentor. Like that's not something that was a problem for me, but I knew that they had the earning 10K a month, for example.
Yeah.
I know that my mentor earns 10K a month and that's what I want. I don't care if we have different beliefs. Like, do you know what I mean? That doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
What bothered me is that I have to go out of my comfort zone and do things that I'm uncomfortable with.
See, I didn't mind that.
See, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
But I think most people would be more like me, as in they would say that being a mentor is more difficult. But in reality, I don't think it is, because otherwise we would all have got further. That's the reality of the situation. If being a mentee was easier, then we would have done better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you.
But that's what I mean. I feel like a lot of us who didn't, like, when it comes to network marketing and like hitting ranks and stuff, a lot of us that didn't progress and hit ranks is because there were certain things that we just weren't able to commit to or weren't able to do, whether it was how we were peaking or how we're following through or anything like that. I just think that, yeah, I just think being a mentee is harder, especially if you're somebody who is confident in their abilities and is a bit headstrong, I suppose, and maybe a bit of ego goes into it. But definitely it being a stranger, somebody that I didn't know, all of this, like, definitely it being someone I don't know, it being a new environment and me being put outside of my comfort zone, that made being a mentee way harder than being a mentor. Because yeah, I was outside my comfort zone by being a mentor, as in being in a position of authority, but outside, like, you adapt to that easy. But stepping outside of my comfort zone every single day, that's hard to adapt to easily.
I hear it. I do. I mean, I feel like the reason I feel a bit differently from you in that sense is because I progressed. Yeah, I progressed. But I think the reason I didn't fully progress and get to a certain level is because I actually didn't really want to. Like, it wasn't my desire. Does that make sense? Like, it wasn't my desire to get to that level. I thought it was at the time when I was there, but it wasn't really that wasn't what I desired. My desire was actually, the trading. And that's why I progressed heavy in trading, because when I was told to do something, I picked it up and I did it, and that was it. Like, when I was told to, do this, do that, do this, I did this.
But that's the point that I'm making. When you were told as a mentor in when your mentor in network marketing told you to do stuff, you didn't always action it. But when it came to trading, you did.
So maybe
as a mentee, you weren't acting. It's not that it was, you just weren't doing it. You weren't doing all of it. Like, I'm not being funny, but you actually weren't. That's what you're saying.
I really wasn't.
You were literally doing it. You just didn't do it.
Let's just tell the truth.
You didn't really listen to your mentor.
I didn't.
That's the case. Like, most of us have had mentors or coaches. I was gonna say, even in like a work environment. So in my most recent job where I was working part time, I would say that I view my manager there as a mentor, as in it was only the two of us that worked together, and I've worked in other roles where it was just a two-person team, but just the way in which we worked, I viewed him as a mentor because he literally guided me and helped me in what it was that I wanted to do. Like, for example, sitting down and having a conversation and establishing what is it that you want out of this, and what can I give you to help you get it there.
Yeah,
those are the conversations that we were having.
Yeah.
And so as a mentor in that sense, I found it much easier being a mentee in a corporate environment because it was within my comfort zone. And so I was easily able to do this because the stuff was easy to me. Easy per se. It's stuff that I do on a daily basis. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But for example, in network marketing, some of the things that one of the things that our mentor used to always tell us to do is, like, for example, speak to 100 people a day. For me, that's insane. Like, talking to 100 people a day. But did you do it every day?
I didn't do it every day because I didn't want to. And that was, and the thing is, that was where my downfall was, because I was doing things thinking that this is what I wanted, but I didn't really want to. Like, there was obviously, like, speak to 100 people a day, yeah, barely ever did it. However, it's not something that if it was a different type of
Or
situation,
or do you think that you sought mentorship in the wrong area then?
100%. 100%. And this is why, when I now, because I didn't know what a mentor was when I first came into that. I didn't really know what a mentor was. I didn't know what I was even supposed to be getting from this. I was just going along with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm just gonna be real. I need to listen. I'm here to speak the truth, in it. Like, I'm just gonna be real. I didn't really know what a mentor was. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just went along with it because it looked great. I'm an expressive. I like the fun. It looked good. Let's do it. Do you know what I mean? But when I really deeped it, and I was just like, okay, cool. What am I really getting from this? Yeah, I'm getting, like, to do all the, we used to have events, we used to do so many different things, and that's great. But really and truly, my passion was with what I was doing with my coach. Do you know what I mean? My coach was the person that was really helping me in that sense of, my mentor was giving me the advice and the things that I needed to get to a certain level, but my coach was the person that was helping me with that skill that I wanted to learn. Does that make sense? So it's like, in terms of mentorship, I wasn't sure what it is that I actually seek. So I didn't really even make it clear to my mentor. So I can't even put nothing on them. It's me. I should have known really what I wanted out of it. And even when they were telling me, oh, let's do this, let's do that, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Because I was hoping to find something. Do you know what I mean? And I did. I'll be real, like, I found, number one, I found you.
Oh, God,
I found you. But I found an environment of people that shared the same beliefs that I did. And then in the end, my mentor, like the person that was actually really mentoring me, became someone that I'm now really good friends with. Shout out to Lisa. Do you know what I mean? So it's like real talk, because she was the person that really understood, because she came from the same place I came from. Do you know what I mean? And she was actually above me when it came down to, obviously, with the rankings and things
But then
like
this
that.
is where I think things get blurred, because when I think mentorship, I don't see Lisa as your mentor.
But she helped me.
But lots of people helped you. Like, I don't see, like,
I hear it.
I think we need to establish mentorship relationship, because even during the network marketing space, that was always the problem. Is your upline your mentor, or is your mentor your mentor? Because that's where it all goes left. And
So what did you?
So now I feel like this conversation has just gone so interestingly.
No, I know. Do you know what? But I feel like, honestly, genuinely, like, this is because, for me, definition of mentorship. This is my personal definition anyway. We're not going to go and look in the Oxford Dictionary for that. But my definition of mentorship is someone who is in that position that you, of course, want to be in.
And that can guide you there.
Exactly. Lisa was in that position that, at the time, because I said I didn't really know what mentorship was, but at the time I thought, where she is where I want to be, in terms of the guidance she was getting, the things that she was, doing in terms of the ranking, the money she was making. Like, she was obviously higher above me than in that. And I looked at her and I was like, rah, like, I actually want to be like her. Real talk. Oh, she's going to get so gassed when she hears this, isn't it? But I looked at her and I was like, rah, like, she is actually a person who I can relate to. Don't get me wrong, like, Tosin or someone I could relate to, but me and Lisa came from the same place. We shared the same interests. We had similar, like, we were literally the same type of person, but it's just she'd gotten further along in that journey than I had. So I did look to her as a mentor, because even when I had those struggles, she would be the first person I call. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, so for me personally,
but that's why I think it's different, because when I think about coaches and mentors, I don't think a coach should be your friend. A mentor and a coach is not your friend. It's a different type of relationship. Like,
I hear it.
Like, when you go to this is just my personal opinion. Like, if I'm coaching someone, I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm not your friend. I'm your coach.
True.
I'm not trying to be friendly with you. I don't want you to call me at the first, like, it's different. It's not the same type of relationship. So that's what I mean. Like, she's your friend. Don't get me wrong.
She's my friend now.
She's someone that you learn from. I do not, like, take that any way back from it. And she's mentored you in some ways, but I just don't, when I'm talking of, like, mentorship, I'm thinking of, like, external, someone that you genuinely, obviously you didn't know her before that, but someone that you don't know and is in the position that's leading you. Like, for example, obviously Lisa used to do certain sessions, but they weren't on, like, mindset or taken you into the place that you want to go. When I think of
True.
mentor, I think of the person that is literally elevating you to get to the place that you want to be, not necessarily mentors, in my opinion, don't always give you the step-by-step way to go. Same thing with coaches. They don't normally tell you step-by-step what it is that you need to do, but they help you and guide you to get to that place by yourself, or give you information that's going to help you get there by yourself. So for example, one of the things that my mentor suggested was reading. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big reader before I got into. Actually, that's a lie. One of my friends, Mike, shout out to Mike, that I used to work with. He bought in a book one time from home, and that's when I started reading. And shortly after, we started network marketing.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't reading a lot, but being in network marketing has changed. I read daily. Like, I don't read daily, it's a lie, but I listen to audiobooks daily, and it's just as good. And that's another thing that I'll go back to. But yeah, I listen to audiobooks daily. And so one of the books that my mentor suggested that we all listen to, or that we all read, is Atomic Habits. We spoke about it before. Atomic Habits is a book by James Clear, if I'm not mistaken. And it talks about how it's a whole book talking about how he has been able to build successful habits and how you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
He talks about so many different things in that book. So I know that we've both been reading it. So what we actually wanted to do was share a little bit of book club. So we're going to have about 10 minutes of book club time where we're going to talk about Atomic Habits.
Yes.
So guys, if you haven't started reading it already, start reading it so that you can get involved in the conversation. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you think. Let us know, we're obviously going to get into the book in a little bit, but let us know what, if any, actions you've taken from reading the book and how it's helped you, or how it hasn't. Or if you've got any other advice about habits, then feel free to let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that was one book that we mentioned quite early on when we started the podcast. So it was something that I hadn't really read much of it at the time. And just like you, like, I'm more an audiobook person because I can do it on the go. Like, I do like to read, don't get me wrong. Like, I 100%, got the hard copy and everything, but I listen to it on audio mostly. But a lot of the things that were in that book were things that I wasn't doing. And the way he broke it down as well, just to kind of make it seem like it's not even that deep. Do you know what I mean? It's the small things that you need to change in order for the bigger things to happen.
So...
some quotes.
No, I don't have some quotes, but I made like notes of some takeaways just from the first couple of chapters. If people are going to read along with us, I don't want to go too deep into it.
We just do a couple, like the beginning.
But what's like been your main takeaways from, let's say, like the introduction chapter where he talks about like his backstory and stuff like that?
So like his backstory, or
even chapter 1. Backstory into chapter 1.
So I don't want to spoil it too much for people that haven't read it yet, but long and short is he had an accident. Something happened to him while he was playing, was it baseball? And then it ended up basically changing the course of his life and the way he went about things. So through school, college, uni, and he just had a couple of different things that he did, a little like small habits, such as the things that we really should do: going to bed early, waking up on time, starting, doing something. Rather than doing things late, like doing things on time and going to the gym, like little things like that. So the little habits that he did, obviously shaped the way he grew up. And eventually, obviously, he became, he wrote the book. Like, the whole thing stems from him, how he got to write in the book. And one of the things that I really took from that was he said that, I really should have written this down. That was terrible of me not to do that. But he did say that if you do something for an hour, I think it was an hour a day, is going to change the course of your life. So doing something for an hour a day could put you like 30 years ahead in life. And that for me was like, right, it's only an hour. Do you know what I mean? If I can't dedicate an hour to the things that I enjoy and the things that I know will help me to be a better person, then I don't really know what I'm doing. So it's just the way he broke down having the small habits that you do. So he was saying, like, rather than his friends were out going to parties in college and whatever, he used to stay at home. Now, for me, because I'm an outside person, it is difficult, but then I do know there's certain times that I have to be like, Tara, just
rein it in. That's what I'm like to you, rein it in.
but I don't want to.
But do you know what
I
it
like
is? I find
outside.
it so much. I find it so hard to watch you sometimes because I've been you.
Yeah,
And I think because you've never known me like that, you don't see it.
I
But
don't.
I've been always late. Do you know what I mean? I've been the person that's just like, wait, but don't get me wrong. Like, I just know how to do both now, but in moderation.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just find that I think I'm just at a place where I'm so focused on what it is that I want out of life that I literally don't see anything else.
Mm-mm-mm.
Like I said before when we were talking about, on one of the last pods we spoke about the retirement age, and I was like, I genuinely don't know because I don't pay attention to things that aren't in alignment with my future.
Exactly that.
Genuinely, I don't. Like, I actually
Literally,
don't. If it's not in alignment with where I'm going, I'm not doing
there's
it,
no
and it
point.
doesn't even. It will just. I don't even see it. It don't make sense.
Yeah.
One of the things that James says in the book is he says, like you mentioned, he says if you get 1% better every single day for a year,
Yeah.
that is the equivalent of 37 times
That's the
better
one.
at the end of the year.
There
So
you
in
go.
365 days, if you start something today and your aim is to get 1% better every single day,
It's mad.
in 365 days, you will be at least, and that's at least 37 times better at that task than you were a year ago.
Facts.
Now, the time passes anyway. Like,
Yeah.
regardless, the time is gonna pass. So how about we do something about it? Do you know what I mean? Let's make it happen. Let's do something.
Mm.
So one of the things that James says, this is just something that I took from it. So as a more of a what's the word where it's like and more of an illustration so that it makes sense. He talks about how the smallest things make the biggest differences.
Yeah.
And that's why he talks about calling them atomic habits, because atomic basically is about exactly being tiny, but together they make up all the molecules of these particles, which is one magnificent thing. Exactly. But one of the things that he mentions is he says that if you change the route of an airplane by 3.5 degrees, and you're flying, I can't remember what the destination is because I didn't write. I mean, I can't remember what the departure place is because I didn't write it down. But if you're departing from, if you change the route of the airplane by 3.5 degrees, which is tiny, 3.5 degrees is literally like that.
Yeah.
90 degrees is the right answer.
Yeah.
3.5 degrees is tiny. And look how big an airplane is. So 3.5 degrees on an airplane looks like nothing.
Yeah.
It's probably just going like that. You know what I mean? It's a little,
yeah.
But if you do that, you'll end up in Washington, D.C. instead of New York, which is 225 miles apart simply from a 3.5 degree change in angle.
That's mad.
And for me, so you're going to have to go read it, guys, because I didn't tell you where they departed from.
Yeah.
But for me, like I said, I'm a logical person. I need to understand how does that work in real terms. And for me, that's a good illustration. Like 225 miles different from a 3.5 degree
angle, yeah.
Like, that's insane.
That's mad. Like, I think for me, I take from that, that basically if you just make those journeys and you just go a little bit, you don't go the same way as everybody else. You go that way that you're supposed to be going, you will end up further than they will long term. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Hopefully. But yeah, so like basically like it's just the little things that you change which make up the bigger picture.
100%.
So like even like and I feel like honestly like since we've been a part of the whole network marketing journey and mentorship and everything, I 100% feel there's so many things that I've changed that I wouldn't have done if I didn't do it.
Yeah, same.
I would not have changed
as a whole person. Like I said,
facts.
I used to be a different person. I was always late. I was always out. I was always out because I didn't enjoy my life. So instead of doing something, no, I'm not. Whoa, that wasn't a dig at you, hon. It's okay. Like, it wasn't about you. This is about me. Anyway, when I used to party all the time, and then I was out all the time. It's because I didn't like my life. I didn't have my own place, so I liked being out. But it's not until I got my own place that I actually deeped all of this stuff. Because once I got my own place, I didn't really go out because I liked being at home. Like, it's literally once I got my own place, I was like, actually, all this stuff that I've been doing is just to pass the time. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just to do stuff that. Like, I used to live for the weekend, but I'm living for the weekend because I hate my job. Like, it's mental. Like, that's, for me, I had to learn that a lot of the things that I do just on a normal day, and I feel like, oh, it's normal. It's not normal. It's because you're actually running from something.
Yeah, I hear that. And I feel like that. And I feel actually, to be honest, when I do think about it, I mean, I've always been a person that goes out, whether I live at home or don't live at home, it doesn't matter, innit? Like, if I'm by myself, I'm not by myself, I'm always out. But, I think it's also because I'm a social person. Like, I really enjoy my own company. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love being by myself. Like, I can fully be by myself and have that, that moment, like whether it's listening to audiobook, podcast, reading, whatever. But for me, just going out and being able to socialize and network and talk to people, because I'm a person that likes to learn. And I feel like when I'm out and I talk to different people, within my job, I talk to different people, I'm always learning something. Like,
Yeah, because you learn from other people's experiences as
literally,
well as your
exactly
own.
that. So it's like, yeah, I'll be out, but then, even when we used to be a part of the network marketing, and when we used to do events and things like that, I used to love it. Like, I used to want to go to every single one, because I knew that I'm going to learn something from this. Like, I'm going to meet new people. And I've always, as I said, I've always been a people person. So, just doing those things is actually what has helped me to kind of know what it is that I want. Like, you see people, you meet people, you're like, I want to do what they do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to be like them, but not like them, but in your own type of way. So, even like just going back to the book, those small habits that we do, like, the little things such as spending that hour a day, or, changing that 1% of your life. Those are they're such small things that you can integrate very easily into your life, but it's your choice.
But that's what I'm saying. So when I'm saying that I don't go out as much anymore, it's not a dig at anybody that goes out
Oh,
or
yeah,
that
yeah,
likes
of
to
course.
party. It's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But for me, what I like we were saying, I changed through network marketing. I literally, prior to 2020, I was out probably every single weekend, probably without fail.
Yeah, I did
And
that either.
sometimes, no, I'm not out because I'm at home marking up my charts. It's not a thing of, it's not just that. It's because I have other things that are more important to me. So when I'm saying I'm not going out, it's no disrespect to the going out, or it's not even that I don't want to. I just got better things to do. Like, in the nicest way possible.
Yeah,
I actually have better things to do.
I hear
And
it.
I know in my heart of hearts that in 5 years' time, I can do what I want any day. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care about having to go out today, because I'm like, in my mind, I know that, like I said, in 5 years' time, I want to be able to go out any day I want.
That's it.
So
hear it.
it's not for me. It's like the now is not, I don't need the now.
Yeah.
I'm focused on the,
Don't
get me
the
wrong.
journey.
Like, I still do enjoyment. Like, I don't think there's any point in focusing on the future too much, because if you focus too much on the future, you start to get anxious because you're living based on something that hasn't even happened yet. So you have to be present, but at the same time, I live in the present, but I'm very aware of where I'm going.
Yeah.
So when I say that I've changed my habits and I don't do certain things anymore, it's just that because I've read things like Atomic Habits, for example, and it's shown me that if I compound these things in a short space of time, I can do that. Now I'm just more excited about compounding them things and doing that than going out. Do you know what I mean? That's it. It's nothing different. It's just that I've got, like you said, I'm excited about different things. Like, where I'd be excited to go to a rave before, I'm excited to go to a networking event because I'm excited to meet people that are gonna like teach me something or change how I'm gonna do something. It's just I'm excited about different things, so I do different things now. And I think that's the difference that network marketing had for me mainly, is that I'm, like I said, excited about different things, and it's changed what it is that I'm interested in. Because like I said, I was just doing a lot of stuff to avoid the stuff that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Without even realizing it, until I got into the environment where it was highlighted that actually I hate working.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you tell me about it. Like, that's the story of my life every single day. I don't even want to go into it, but no, I completely understand and hear what you're saying, because for me as well, like, network marketing changed the course of my life, because I don't really feel like I had as much direction before doing it. And that's just not to say that I didn't really know where I was going, because I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know how I was going to get there.
Yeah, which is true. You didn't know where you was going. I didn't know where I was going.
No idea.
I mean, I knew like you said, I knew where I was going, but how are you going to
get there? Yeah,
and that's where
I didn't
you're
have a
going.
path.
Like,
yeah. There was no clarity. Like, let's be real, there was no clarity, and I had to go through things that I didn't actually like and didn't really, because for me, like, I'm not really a person that if I don't like something, I'll stick it out until it really gets on my nerves. So for me, it got to a point where obviously, we stopped obviously doing the network marketing and things like that. But I had so much more direction in my life after that. I was lost for a little bit. I can't lie. Like, I was a bit like, oh, what do I do now? Like,
when we first stopped network marketing.
Right.
I hear that.
Like, I was lost. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit like, okay, I've been doing this for 4 years now, or 3 years it was at the time, and I was like, okay, I don't really know where I go from here. Like you know, the calls and the things that I used to do, I had no idea where I go. And then that's when I thought to myself, I still need a mentor. Like I do still need a mentor, but it's not that type of mentor for what I was doing then. I need a mentor to help me with that course of my life.
Or
Like
a coach
yeah,
that's gonna help
coach,
you
there you go.
to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah, like I was like, I need a coach, or I need a mentor, and I also need accountability because that's the thing that I was lacking when I first started network marketing. I didn't have anybody that held me accountable for anything, and then coming into that environment where everybody held you accountable because everybody sees what you're doing. You're being held accountable for the smallest things, and you're thinking, no, allow me, man, please. But it helped because now I then seeked accountability. After coming out of that, I was like, I need someone to hold me accountable for the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I remember when we started, we became accountability partners, and it was like, let's do this, let's get this done. We used to check in and be like, let's do this and let's do that. And that is kind of, how this even all came about, because we both wanted to do something, but we needed that accountability and that push to say, just do it. Like, why are we faffing about? Like, let's just do it. But I also seek accountability in terms of, like just guidance with someone that I know that may have been there before, and we're on that same journey, but we've got different skills, different things to bring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're very good with like being organized and organizing things and structure and all of that. I'm very good at the social, like let's do this and let's talk to people, blah, blah, blah. So putting that together, it then becomes something that, okay, this can grow now. This can grow and be something that we both got skills in different areas. Let's do it, isn't it? Let's do it. It helps us to hold each other accountable, but also we both learn we learn about the skills that we have from each other, and we learn again like how to, you've taught me certain things about how to be organized. We talk about things about, when we're talking to people, public speaking, all of that kind of stuff. So it's like I felt very lost. However, I found my feet because I had more direction in what I wanted. I knew, number one, I didn't want to work. And that's network marketing really allowed me to feel like I didn't have to work, but it wasn't that right path for me. I couldn't be a network marketer for life. For some people, it's very, it's hats off to them.
100%.
Like, honestly, hats off to them. Because for the people that are doing network marketing,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I joined
because
boy, you lot be working.
You lot be working. Like, no, it is work. Like, it is work. We've been there. We've seen it firsthand. We've seen people really come from the bottom and now they're here. Do you know what I mean?
Literally.
So it's like,
and I remember one of our Matt always used to be like, it's work.
yeah,
Get paid.
Get paid.
Work. Get paid.
Yep.
Work. Get paid. Get paid. And that's the thing that for me, like, it just changed. Like, for example, growing up as a child, going into the world of work, I thought you had to work, get paid. As in, you have to work hard. You got to build yourself up. You have to climb that ladder. Me as an accountant, I have had to study for years to get qualified, and I'm still not qualified yet. And it's like you have to do all of these things in order to get to that next level to get the money. Whereas in network marketing, as I just described, it's a completely different environment. Instead of working and getting paid, which is what happens in a normal job, you work for the month, you get paid. You work for the month, you get paid. In network marketing, what happens is in the beginning of your career or network marketing journey, you work hard.
Mate,
Hard.
it's too much.
But once you reach a certain level, you reap the rewards and you no longer have to do as much work at all. And for me, that was just something that made sense. And not just in network marketing though, because if you're interested in finance or investments and you understand the same thing, once you get to a certain point of your investments and you can start to live off residual income, it's the same concept. Like, it's
residual income.
Exactly. It's the same concept of doing something and not necessarily seeing a result, but knowing that you're going to get that result later. So that's what, like I said, like now I'm excited about doing things and I don't have the results yet.
Yes.
I'm excited to do the stuff because I know what's coming.
You know.
I'm genuinely excited like
Literally.
about what's to come. But one of the things that you mentioned about clarity, James says that a lot of people, I always talk about these people like they're my friends, guys, I'm sorry.
This is said James says.
My mate James.
My mate James. Big J.
Jay said a lot of people think they lack motivation, but what they really lack is clarity.
Okay.
But James literally did say that in his book. He says a lot of people think that they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. And
I think that's
when
true.
he elaborated on it, he was just basically saying, like, for example, one of the easiest examples is that a lot of people will wait for the right time
There's no right time.
There is no right time. And what you're saying is that you're waiting for something to happen in order for you to act. Where if you had clarity on what it is that you actually needed to happen, you will say, okay, I don't know, when I go outside next week, I'm going to do X. But if you don't put that action first, if you just say when the time is right, I'm going to do X, it's different than if you put an actual action that you can measure onto it. So that's what he was just saying. A lot of people don't lack motivation, they actually lack clarity.
And I think that's the realness of it, though, because when you have the clarity, it's very easy to actually do the job. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, and it's kind of like an epiphany. Do you know what I mean? When you actually get that clarity of what it is that you want to do, you're like, oh my God, I know what I want now. Now, all I need to do is do A, B, C, and D, and then I'll get to there. Do you know what I mean? Because before, you're just kind of walking, you're just going. It's just like, okay, I'm just going to go and see what happens. But there's not really anything that's going to come out of that because there's no plan. There's no clarity, facts. But when it comes to, especially when it comes to doing what it is that you want to do, doing what you love. So whether it's in your job, whether it is, a side hustle, whatever it is, there has to be a plan. Like, there has to be a plan, but there also has to be that guidance. So whether it's mentorship, coaching, accountability, whatever that it looks like for you, you need it. And you're not going to get there. You're going to lack heavy if you don't have that there. There's no person that we've heard, even with when it comes to Atomic Habits, like so many of the other books that we've read and we're going to mention throughout the podcast, every single one of those people who has actually been able to write that book has either seen it through, mentorship or through, through coaching or just seeing someone that's already done it. And then now this is why they're able to do it too.
Yeah.
He talks about in that book, this was a very good part of the book. And I know it was kind of somewhere near the beginning, but he spoke about the people, the cyclists. Do you remember?
That's literally what I was going to talk about because you mentioned whatever you just said. I was literally going to say, well, yeah, he talks about I don't even need to read it because I know that bit.
You know that bit, yeah.
I didn't make notes.
I thought that was mind blowing. Guys, go read the book because that bit was mind blowing because he was like, these cyclists that basically changed the
British. It's the British Tour de France team.
Yes,
they had literally, as far as it. Don't quote me, go read it. But from memory, they had never won anything when it came to cycling.
No.
Until they got somebody new came in to look after the team. And what he did, instead of focusing on the overall goal, he focused on making tiny changes. Like we mentioned before, those 1% changes every single day. So things like changing the material that they use for their riding so that when they rode they didn't sweat as much and it didn't slow them down, or changing their tires. And one of the things that he also mentioned is that the British team was so bad that from I don't remember the name of the company, but the bike, one of the best bike manufacturers at the time, they wouldn't even sell bikes to the British team. They were literally that bad. They weren't trying to be like ruining their reputation by being associated with such a crap team.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically focusing on those small habits every single day within, I can't remember if it was after the first year, but after the first year, they won one, was it the Olympics?
It was Olympics. I think it was the Olympics first where they won the one in Beijing. Was it 2008 or whatever, whenever it was, the Beijing Olympics? I think that was the first one, or it was.
So yeah, they won.
Yeah, and then they won Tour de France, I think it was.
No, but it's not that. The Tour de France, they won it for like 8 years in a row. That's what I was coming to. It wasn't just once. It got to like they
never
went
lost.
They went from being literally a rubbish team that people didn't even want to be associated with, including brands. And you got to remember, brands, who doesn't want to be associated with a team? Because even the bad teams, those of you who are football supporters, even the bad teams, they still have good sponsors because people still go and watch. You still get paid. To not want to be associated, you've got to be
mad.
Like real bad, guys.
Mad. And I don't even follow cycling like that. But for them to say, "Oh, you can't buy bikes here,"
yeah,
like you cannot buy bikes here.
But just think like football, I'm like, nah, like they must have been terrible.
It's mad.
Like literally,
it's actually mad.
But yeah, going from that to winning, so they had one person win the Tour de France 1 year, and then I think literally for the next 5 years, another British cyclist won it. The same British cyclist. So there was 2 cyclists that won it for, I literally believe, like 6 years running. It was
Yeah.
Britain that had won it.
Yeah.
And then, like you mentioned, they also won. They took home, I think it was 6 medals at the Beijing Olympics, and then
It was 9 in the next ones or something like that, because they won a few, and then the next one they won more.
they won the majority
Yeah,
of
the most
all
that you
of the
can.
cycling.
Yeah.
That's what I was going
And
to
they
come
never.
to.
It's mad though, because like I think that part of the story just made me realize it's just like, okay, cool. Now again, if they had stuck with the same person who was coaching them, or getting them through that process, they wouldn't have listen, they'll still be here struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We wouldn't have
They
made
would
it.
still be here struggling. But it's the fact that they changed just the small things, and now they're unstoppable.
Yeah, so for me, like I need proof in it. Like I said, I'm a logical person. You can tell me whatever you want, but unless you can show me, like I don't care.
Yeah.
So for me, like I like that he put that in there because that's proof. I can go. I haven't because I don't care that much.
Yeah,
But I
to
believe him.
research, yeah,
But
yeah.
I he literally gives you resources that you can go and look into things that he explains. But for me, it's like having a real life example where somebody has literally changed 1% a day and it's literally changed the trajectory of a whole entire team. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So if that can happen to a team, I know that I can do that in my life.
Facts. And I feel like even for us as well, like when we were, involved in network marketing, we saw a lot of that. Like there was a couple of people that we did see, go from like prime example, and I still follow her till today. Oh, imagine her name's just gone out of my head. Can't remember her name. But anyway, she basically, when we went to an event in London, I was sitting next to her. I was sitting behind her. And she was literally just in that same, not even the same position. She was slightly higher up in the ranks than me, but she was sitting next to me. We were having a conversation, spoken, whatever, and it was great. And that was like just before pandemic when we had that event. We went to the event in Barcelona this time, well, April last year, and she was on the stage hitting like 250,000 a year.
No way, that's amazing.
But when I spoke to her and she was sitting down next to me and we were having that conversation, she was only on £2,000. She was collecting her check for 2,000 a month, right? When we went to 2 years later, when I went to go and see her in Barcelona, she was collecting a check for 250,000.
This is why I say that we weren't good mentees. I'm sorry. Like I
But-
don't know
but
how you
you-
can deny
no,
this.
but no,
I
no,
get what you're.
But
You
have
can
to want
justify
innit?
it.
No, but you have to
but
want
you're
it.
just
Like
justifying it. We were bad. Like
No.
I don't know why you're trying to make it sound. Why don't you just take accountability for your actions? We didn't follow.
No, I hear that. No, I 100% hear it. However, no, I believe it, because why am I not making? But again, for me, this is just me, innit? Like for me personally, I just couldn't. It wasn't the course I knew that I could take. I wouldn't be happy, and at the end of the day, my happiness means everything. Forget
I'm
the
not
money. Do you
disagreeing.
know what I
I'm not
mean?
disagreeing
Like,
with you. I'm exactly that. I know that I didn't do it because, like I said, I was uncomfortable. It took me
Yeah,
out of my comfort zone, so I
it
didn't
was
like it. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying we could be in very different positions if we did follow step by step and literally word for word what our mentor told us.
yeah,
But
because
we
there were
didn't.
people that did, and look,
Exactly.
they went from earning £2,000 a month to £250,000 a month. Literally, what is her name? It's gonna bother me now. You know
I
who I'm
actually
talking
don't know who
about.
that is, so I
You
can't
do. Anyway, we'll get back to it. It's gonna come to me at some point. Anyway, but Morgan, honey Morgan.
Oh, so done.
Yeah, she yeah. So that's something, and it's a story I actually told her. I sent her a message on Instagram. I weren't even trying to hide it. I was like, listen, do you remember when we sat down in London and you were collecting your check for £2,000? I think it was like £5,000 or $5,000 or whatever a month. The next time I saw you, you were collecting your check for $250,000 a month. I stalked her Instagram, bro.
And it's the things that you do every day. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest, like, I haven't changed anything drastic in my life. I haven't made any drastic changes. I have just changed the small things. It's Atomic Habits and The One Thing.
Oh, The One Thing's a great book
that have really helped me to get that clarity that my boy Big J talks about. And so, yeah, like The One Thing talks about focusing on the one thing. And in the space that we were in, it was network marketing, isn't it? It's very higgledy-piggledy, you're all over the place. I'm also trying to learn to trade. I'm learning about crypto. I'm learning about all of these different things. There was a lot going on. I want to be a trader. So since I've left network marketing, all I do is trade. I don't care about nothing else.
Yeah.
I trade. Yeah. Literally, I'm always in the charts.
But do you feel like though, yeah, like this is me asking you, like real talk, yeah. Do you feel like it would ever get to a point where if someone said to you, "Oh, Naomi, like I know, like you trade and everything, would you be able to show me what you do?" Would you now become from going from that stage of obviously we had to do it because that's what we were part of, but actually doing it because you want to? Is that something that you would do?
That's something that I intend to do.
There you go.
That's something that I
You heard it
actually
here
intend to do. So
first.
when I'm ready, guys, you'll be the first to know. It's just that
Yeah. Cause that's what I learned from it though. Like I'll be real. Like I learned the fact that I knew how I wanted to do it. And maybe that's me being stubborn. That you're right, that is me being stubborn because I knew how I wanted to do it. I just didn't want to do it the way that they
that they
wanted
did
me to
it.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
like
I didn't
I
want to
just
do
didn't
it
want to do it that way.
No, I
Like I'm
didn't.
sorry, I just
I didn't
didn't.
want to. If I'm going to be completely honest, actually, do you know what we should do? We should talk about network marketing in detail and talk about like all the pyramid scheme stuff and like let's get into the nitty gritty because I feel like in network marketing there's so many things, guys. It's true. We talk about them pyramid schemes all the time.
Yeah.
When you hear network marketing, what's the first thing you think?
Yeah, pyramid scheme. Straight up. Straight up. Do you know how many times people used to be like, don't try and get me to join this
I
cult?
said it. If you've watched our previous episodes, like you know how I got swindled into even joining this thing. Like my friend didn't tell me while going. Like literally, when I heard network marketing, I heard pyramid scheme. Like what does that mean? So yeah, what do you think? I think we should just like delve into that a little bit more because I feel like we've
100%.
actually touched on it a lot in this, but I feel like it would actually be good if we delved into it a little bit
I
deeper.
think we should. I definitely think we should.
Just like let's crush a lot of the myths and talk about how we've actually been able to utilize what we learned from it for the better, because I do feel like, as I've said before, it's a great life experience and a great business experience if you want to become an entrepreneur.
That's true. I mean, I'm here for it. Like, I feel like we need to talk about network market. I mean, we can give them that source right now, or we gonna save that a little bit.
I mean, we can say we can save it. We can save it till next time.
I think we should
just,
save it.
wrap it up.
That's too much. Yeah, listen. You already know there's so much, girl.
All right, you lot just got to go read Atomic Habits.
No, facts. and don't just read it. Like read it and action it. Like real talk, because the little things that you can do from that book are going to change the course of your life. Have you not heard the 3.5-degree angle? The plane went one place and it should have gone another place. Like, come on, let's be real. But yeah, no, real talk, guys. Please read the book. Like, it is important for your journeys. Like, if you want to do anything that is going to make yourselves better, do read those books that are going to help you, especially if you're a procrastinator like myself. Like, I'm a heavy procrastinator. Atomic Habits and the one thing which we'll probably speak about in future episodes are two books that really helped me to stop procrastinating. I'm still on my journey. I'm still working on it. However, it really has helped. So read that book.
It's always a journey.
Absolutely.
We're both on our journey. But yeah, I just think I highly recommend Atomic Habits for anybody who genuinely wants to change their habits. Obviously, it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes reading. Not everybody even wants to change. But if you are someone who genuinely wants change and genuinely wants to be better, and this isn't necessarily in anything, you can implement these habits in your workplace, you can implement it at home, you can implement it in entrepreneurship. I personally have just implemented it in life. I haven't done anything, I don't really do anything different in the workplace, but how I live my life is different. I do things, I combine habits. We can go into that. Actually, we can talk about more about Atomic Habits maybe on the next pod or the one after, and go into the later chapters, because we've only really spoken about the first two chapters.
Yeah, because we want you guys to read it. We don't want to give you all the source and then you just don't know how to read it.
So guys, you read the book, drop us some feedback, let us know, like I mentioned, what you took away from it, what actions, if any, you've been able to implement into your life and how it's helped. Also, any questions that you have for us on how we've been able to implement things, we'd love to include that in our next episode as well.
Absolutely.
So please do let us know.
Absolutely. And of course, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of those things, because of course, we're here to give you that value. But obviously from our own point of view. So, talk to us, guys. Tell us what it is that you're feeling. Tell us the experiences that you've had as well. Like, has any of these things affected you? Have you been part of a network marketing scheme? We want to know how it worked for you.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I think we're going to save some sauce for the next one.
We'll save it for the next one because, it's been a little while. But we appreciate you guys for coming and joining us as always. We appreciate your support.
We love it.
And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode, where we're going to dive more into this network marketing stuff and really talk about that pyramid scheme, because we know you want to talk about it.
Oh, all right. See you guys. Have a wonderful week, and make sure you share it as well as like and comment and subscribe.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.